economic growth, federal government tax youth on nation building, and on brain drain, Nigeria losing big to Japa trend additional. And on education, 211,000 candidates sit for mock UTME, and decolonization, Obasanjo urges mindset renewal among Africans. And in martial law, Afghanistan publicly executes 4 men. And also down to sports, we're looking at Osimhen can be Chelsea legend according to Mikel. And let's head straight to our stories for the day. In a proactive move to prevent renewed clashes between herders and farmers, the Taraba State Livestock Productivity and Resilience Support Project has embarked on a sensitization mission to conflict-prone areas in the state ahead of the upcoming rainy season. The initiative, which began in Karim Lamido local government area, a region recently affected by violent clashes, aims to promote peaceful coexistence and dialogue between farmers and Fulani herders. The conflict had previously led to the loss of lives, destruction of property, and displacement of hundreds of residents. Leading the delegation yesterday, Mr. Fila Body Simon, a conflict prevention and mediation expert, addressed community members, emphasizing the importance of harmony. He said, "We are here to encourage you to live in peace with one another. As the rainy season approaches, crisis benefits no one. Everyone suffers. Development cannot thrive in a climate of hostility," he said. Also speaking during the event, Mr. Ishiaka, the state's husbandry officer, and Mrs. Rehab John Machoko, a gender-based violence advocate, urged community leaders to educate their youth on the importance of peace and to discourage vigilantism. Representing the Gwomu community, Mr. Simon Gideon, secretary of the district head, lamented the recent violence, which is attributed to external influences. He reported that over 200 people, mostly women and children, were displaced, just as he appealed to the government and charitable organizations for additional support to alleviate their suffering. Leaders of herder associations, including Ado Jarenga Gada, national chairman of Tabita Fuluku Jonde Jam, and Ado Baleri Galera, chairman of the Mieti Allah branch in Karim Lamido, expressed gratitude to the state government and LPS for their continued intervention. They pledged their commitments to lasting peace and cooperation. The support we've received gives us every reason to live in harmony, said Ado Gada. To go back to conflict would be to betray the confidence placed in us. However, the leaders also highlighted ongoing challenges such as the shortage of vaccines, lack of grazing routes, and limited access to water. They appealed for continued government and project support to address these issues and sustain peace in the region. Mr. Saro, we've had a series of clashes, even though not in Taraba State, we've had in Plateau State. Right. Does it mean there's not been enough education on the importance of peace to these communities?
Okay, I believe it's far beyond sensitization and education. From the crisis over that place, I believe it's about differences in religious belief.
Okay.
So now these differences in religious belief ensure some set of people believing that killing people is a way of worship to their gods.
Okay.
Are you getting me? So if you're not of that belief, you are prone to being executed.
Okay.
Are you getting me? And number two, another reason that do result to this crisis is external forces. Sometimes it's political.
Interesting.
Are you getting me? Sometimes it's political. Now, these factors can be combed if sensitization is thoroughly practiced, ensuring peace, the essence of living together in harmony, irrespective of our religious belief. Because definitely differences in religious belief is bound to occur when people coexist.
Okay.
But educating them on respecting our beliefs, values and norms is something that needs to be looked into critically. Because we have what we call freedom of worship.
All right.
You're entitled to worship whoever God you want to worship. So your worship should not encroach into my worship that will result to murder. Okay. So it cuts across education.
Education. There's an adage that says when two persons are arguing and one person is always agreeing, it means something that it could show that agreement is something like an acquiescence. The person is just trying to agree. Now, in this case, what would we call peace? Is it that both communities agree, or one community agrees to sheath their sword while the other one remains takes rules over the other, or both communities decide to sheath their swords?
So it's both communities deciding to sheath their sword, because peace is not the absence of conflicts.
Okay.
Now, for there to be peace, sometimes there must be conflict. It's conflict management that brings about peace maintenance.
Okay.
Are you getting me? So these two parties should see reasons for the sake of posterity and longevity of life.
Okay.
For the sake of respect to human life.
Okay.
There's need for them to sheath their sword.
Okay.
It's not about supremacy. Okay? It's not about supremacy or whatever. It's all about respecting human life, irrespective of our belief.
You mentioned external values, external influences as one of the reasons that we could allege triggers this conflict.
Definitely.
To what extent does external factors play? Because the external factors will not come and give you guns, and will not come and give you guns to kill the fellow person. It's something that you have to agree to.
Now, when we talk about religious belief, I have my religious belief. Another belief or worshippers do have their belief. Now, this religious crisis in this area believes that if you speak against my belief, you should be killed. Or if you speak against my God, you should be killed. It's like a law.
Okay.
Are you getting me?
Okay.
Now, it's like a belief system. I've had a conversation with a Muslim who sells in the market.
Okay.
I never knew there was a knife inside of his bag. So I happened to have a discussion with him. So I told him, why do you people kill people who speak against their God? They say it's a law in that belief that if you speak against my God, I should kill you. And there is how would I call it? There is a laurel accorded to a spiritual laurel accorded to you if you do that. So the external factor provides that belief system, or encourages that belief system, that this set of people, and sometimes external factor can come with land grabbers. They can grab your land, or want to inhabit a community or possess a community with their belief. So they can go extra mile to recruit their fellow worshippers to go on attack.
So beyond these external factor of religion, did you also think that this could be, like you mentioned, an attempt to overrule over a particular set of persons?
Definitely. You know, in a system where, or in an organization or a country that the majority worships one God, they would tend to ensure that the remaining percent come into their fold or come into their belief system to make it a one God. Like the Arab nations is a one God. It's a one God worship system. So every other person go into hiding. And their law is so stringent on other worshippers. Like in Qatar, they don't worship on Sunday. They worship Fridays. And the time is limited. It shouldn't be more than 1 hour plus. And you must not do it in an open place. You do it in an enclosed place. That's hidden. Because it's not permitted. You don't preach. So beliefs and cultural value is a major role. And these people are indoctrinated from infant. So it's part of their way of life. It's their culture. So the moment you speak against their God, they kill you. even government know.
I was to go there. So apart from peace education, what else could the government put in place to ensure, like you said, violence would oftentimes erupt, but it's how you manage the conflict.
Yes,
so apart from educating the masses on the effect, the importance of peace, what else would you suggest the government should do to ensure that such blood massacre does not take place frequently like it has?
Definitely. The government have a role. They have to provide security agencies to mount that area to ensure peace and order. Because whether you educate these people or not, the education cuts across the formal education. Are you getting me? These people, their education is both religious and formal, a basic education that is attributed to everybody. So, but it's more of their religious education. It's more. So the government role is to provide security agents and maybe talk to their leaders, their religious leaders, for them to see the need to manage and minimize this conflict. Because order flows from the head down to the bottom. So if the leaders of that religion is being sensitized or carried along, for them to see the need for peace to be ensured, then those on the lower card of their belief will follow.
These are two factors, two sectors, two players in two key sectors: farmers and herders. And we know that farmers are for food and herders are for animals. In past times, these two sectors have been known to. What does a farmer need a gun for? What does a herder need a gun or a machete for? What do you think has changed? Is it the current situation on ground where probably we could say most processes are aggravated internally, thus a little thing could just spark it, and then people, or the fact that people tend to now take protection and justice for yourself. So you have to go about with weapons because you don't know who's going to attack you. So what do you think? Where did you get it wrong? Because I know while I was growing up, you see herders, what they use is stick. But currently you find most of them using guns.
Normally on a norm, it's not expected of a farmer or a herder to use guns. But we find ourselves in a society that is that has insecurity. Is the order of the day. Are you getting me? So in a society or a system where law and order and security is in place, a farmer or a herder shouldn't carry gun. But in a system where there is disorderliness, there is conflict, people tend to carry this weapon for the safety of their lives and their livestock.
But there are security agencies everywhere.
You can't guarantee that. If I'm in a farmland that is far away from the police station, or far away from the army barrack, or far away from where security agencies are, before they will come, they must have killed me. So the people see the need to carry a weapon to protect themselves and their livestock. So it's not supposed to be so.
Because I was to say, gun. There's a Chinese adage that says the barrel of gun has an intoxicating effect.
Yes, definitely. It has an intoxicating effect. It influences you to take action when you have aggravated. Are you getting me? It gives you an edge. So when I carry a weapon and I see danger coming, and I have something that will ensure my safety, I will use it. Are you getting me? But that's where we find ourselves. But in a system where there's law and order and good security system, there's no need to carry a weapon. So herders and farmers, they are bound to coexist, because the herder's livestock depends on the grass. It depends on the food products on the ground for its nourishment. Where the farmer also need the herders to feed on the livestock. So it's a symbiotic relationship.
But currently, I think it's turned into a
parasitic
one.
Definitely. Because of religious belief and insecurity. So if this is managed or minimized, then the people will see the need not to carry weapon. And proper sensitization.
Okay.
Because sensitization is what brings about harmony, education. When we talk about sensitization, it talks about educating the people on the need for peace, providing factors that ensures peace. With that, the people will see the need to drop that weapon.
All right, so thank you for your opinion on that.